Hello, greetings of the time. This is Barchok, and I think it's appropriate for me to start this video with a disclaimer that I'm not a public speaker, I'm not a commentator, I'm not a journalist, I'm not even a singer. Although sometimes I sing, and of course, people have complained about my singing, but either way, I still sing, and it's also the same reason I'm doing this video. I must say that my choice in the business of the news might have been quite a controversial one, maybe even a slight deviation from the topics. But I felt the need to do this because every time I go to the news, every time I've been in the socials and everywhere, this comes along, and it comes along very strongly. I must also say that this is quite a controversial topic, considering the impact and the levels of emotions involved, and therefore I'm not even going to delve into the nitty-gritties of this war and why and the whys and the hows and everything around it. But however, my topic is going to focus on cost of war, and I think that is also appropriate for me to you know headline my video as the cost of war, because every time I was writing about this, every time I've watched this, and my mind has always run back on all the wars that have been happening, and also the near happening wars, including the one that was almost braced as warming up for World War III, and that was one of the US and China supremacy battles that was based off of one tiny little thing with the 5G transformation that we currently use. The two countries were fighting over who was going to have to launch it, or who was going to make the best or the most out of the transition from 4G to 5G internet. And it's a surprise you that the cost of this 5G internet was estimated to be around 50 billion US dollars. But my mind also went back to the details, and I dug up some articles, and I found that there's a time, and even currently, many sources show that the US spent about $800 billion on wars each year, and that's just on the machinery. No one goes to the details of details of paying for wars and financing the wars and the repairs and everything that surrounds wars. That is just on the purchase of the machinery that is to be used in the war. Now, my video and my portfolio focused on the Israel-Hamas war, which I'm not going to the nitty-gritties, like I said, but most of the time I wonder, what do we get from war? What do these countries benefit from war? Is it because you want to defend your religion, your cultural background, or your origin, your identity? I don't know. But then again, let's look at the impact. Let's look at the families that are affected, the casualties, the deaths, the children that have to live as orphans because of war. And for what, and at what cost, for what reason? Like the recent UK and Ukraine war, Ukraine and Russia war, sorry. I've also gone to the details, dug up some articles and the videos in YouTube, and I've been trying to calculate and work out a figure, but I must say I got lost because the numbers are too huge. It's even unbelievable. Like, for example, this reminded me of a question that my lecturer posted in class about one bad investor that was going into debt. And the question was, would you help this person out, and it was only a few $1 billion. Now, one of the articles that I found in this war said that Australia in itself donated like $655 billion and another $475 billion, coming to around $1.2 billion just to finance this war. And let's be honest, in this current society, nothing comes for free. I imagine how many hundreds of years Ukraine is going to have to pay back for all the donations or supposed donations from all the countries, including US and all the superpower countries. Australia in itself currently has a very big challenge with Medicare, health insurance, and even the most current and the most the biggest problem that Australia faces at the moment, which is also my topic in the group research project, when housing. I'm thinking about how this money could have helped in resolving this issue with housing. But look, we put all this money in war. How much is war gonna bring back? I don't know. How many families would have been clothed? How many families would have been fed? How many people would have been, gotten off the streets with all these billions of dollars that are invested in war? Is it even an investment? Of course not. However, this is a very emotive topic, and I'm not gonna dive into the details. However, I'm gonna say it's pointless. Wars are pointless, and many say that it's in chaos that we breed order, and I also believe that the idea of chaos is existence of an order which we have not agreed upon or we have not discovered yet. But they have been going for far too long, and it's an open book. It's in an open book that nothing comes from wars, nothing except for misery and further chaos. So that's why I chose to write about this, and I'm glad I had this opportunity to speak about it. Maybe in future we can find a world order. We can live in peace and harmony regardless of our differences, regardless of where we come from, regardless of what we look like, regardless of what we believe, how we worship, whom we worship. Because at the end of the day, we are all human and we all want the same thing. Live a happy, fulfilling life. Thank you. Peace.